All right. All right. Welcome everybody to our info session here to learn more about the programs at Monroe University. My name here is Samir Alam. I am a education consultant with GoElite. Today we'll be talking with our speaker, Ms. Huang, who is the Director of International Admissions at Monroe University. The topics we're going to cover, so we have a 45-minute session. Ms. Huang is going to present to us about how to continue working after OPT or H1B ends. We're also going to talk about how the SEVIS transfer works and also give a little guide on the CPT application. We'll talk about class assignment and on-campus activity guides. And we'll also talk about the possibility of STEM OPT and OPT in general after CPT. Goalie, just so you know, will be kind of sending you these QR codes on the left. If you want to get in touch with our consultants like me or any of my colleagues, feel free to scan the QR code on the left for English consultation on WhatsApp, or scan the code on the right for a Chinese consultation on WeChat. Yes, so about us, who are we? We are an education consulting agency. We work with international students, and we are certified by AIRC. One thing, so beyond like talking to students about like, their immigration situation, we do have like a couple other like programs that we're rolling out recently. One of this is a community rewards program where you can meet and talk with other applicants to CPT programs, and also get some rewards. So get some points, maybe get a Starbucks gift card, Amazon gift card. I'll be sharing information on how to enroll in this rewards program later on. So stay tuned for that. In addition, we also are releasing this new resource. It's called the White Book for F1 students. So this is kind of a resource for all F1 students, whether you're a bachelor student, master's student, and studying abroad in the US. You can kind of just learn about what that experience is like. So chances are some of you may already be like fairly experienced, but there's always more to learn. And if you'd like to share this with any of your friends or colleagues or anyone else who's interested in learning more about studying in the US, feel free to share this resource with them. I've told you a little bit about ourselves, but don't just take my word for it. You can go ahead and look us up on Google. You can see like other prospective applicants, what they've said about us. We have over 500 people that you could kind of look at. And you can see that overall, like, it seems that, a lot of people have enjoyed working with us. Again, to get a chance taste for that yourself, scan this QR code on the top for a WhatsApp consultation, or scan the QR code at the bottom to get in touch with us via WeChat. And yeah, these are our socials. Feel free to check us out on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We have like all sorts of resources there. Now, without further ado, I am going to pass this presentation over to Ms. Huang at Monroe University. Just a quick disclaimer before I do this for everybody. We have a lot of like information that we're going to cover, and we are going to have, we're going to have our presentation, then we're going to have a Q&A session. And so please have your questions, put your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll answer them at the end of the chat, at the end of the session. However, there's a good chance that your question might be addressed in our presentation by Ms. Huang. So definitely do pay attention because maybe you're asking a question. It's good to ask a question, but also maybe we've already covered it. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pass this over to Ms. Huang.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Can you see me? My name is Huang, and I'm working for Monroe University over 11 years. And today I'm very honored to be here to join the webinar with GoElite and you guys. Let's share some experience or asking some questions and about CBT, OPT, STEM, how to smoothly to meet the goal. Our ultimately goal is like shorten the gap between our OPT and CPT, right? And I will introduce a little bit about Monroe University, and then we can start from there. So, Monroe University, we founded in 1933 during the Great Depression, started with 7 students. Our core core philosophy of providing quality education to facilitate employment has remained unchanged for over 90 years. We've been in New York over 90 years. So we have over 8,500 students from over 90 countries and over 50,000 graduates worldwide and focus on their future. So for a school's history, we've been here more than 90 years, and in New York, New York is expensive. If we can survive more than 90 years, almost a century, that means we have very good reputation, and we have a lot of students to graduate, to some international students, some local students. So our practical programs are taught by experienced practitioners, ensuring students can apply classroom theory to real world scenarios. From the beginning, we taught like 7 students, female students, to after Great Depression, how to looking for a job, how the woman want to get a job after the Great Depression. So from that time out to today, our goal is the same. We want help students to get the real world education. So our location is in Westchester, New Rochelle. If you're living around New York area, you're gonna know Westchester. It's like another Long Island. It's 35 minutes from our campus to Midtown Manhattan. So our little city is quiet, safe, and very good neighborhood with restaurants, stores, entertainment complex, New York City, a New York City nearby. Walkable campus offers a vibrant and convenient environment for students. So we have 2 locations in New York. One is in Bronx, which is a fiber, one of the fiber. Another one, the international campus, is in New Rochelle. If students choose the weekend program, all the classes will be in New Rochelle. If it's weekday, majority of the class will be in Bronx campus. But these 2 campuses, we offering the shuttle bus every hour, and it's free shuttle bus between these 2 campuses. Is without traffic, it's only take 30 minutes. So next slide. So after the location is the key. About next one is our program, right? What kind of program we're offering, and then some student is interested in, if in Monroe University, we offering many practical program like accounting, MBA with 11 concentration. Now recently we got a MBA STEM program approved, which is take 45 credits, but after graduate, student can get 3 years OPT. We have computer science, it's a STEM program. We have data science. We have criminal justice, forensic psychology. We have healthcare administration. We have MPA. We have public health. Public health, the biostatistics concentration considered as another STEM program. We already got the approval by New York State. We are on the process of submitting the paperwork for SEVIS approval. It's probably going to take another 3 months. Hopefully, we can launch that MPH biostatistic concentration in April, considered as a STEM program as well. So we have an advanced certificate in data science. That's 18 credits certificate, but this program allows students to apply for another OPT as well. So next slide. After I introduce those programs, student may be thinking, so what kind of document we need to submit to get admissions letter? It's really easy. Like copy of passport, essay, resume, transcript, diploma, and 2 recommendation letters. So next up, the path to applying for Monroe University, it's around 3 stages. The first stage, after you're submitting all the documents I mentioned before, it's gonna take 2 to 3 business days for us to issuing admissions decision letter. The second stage is the SEVIS. Some student, if for example, you're a SEVIS transfer student, your SEVIS record with the previous school, now you need to use our acceptance letter with the SEVIS transfer form requesting the previous school to release your SEVIS record to our database. So after you get this acceptance letter, you need to do the SEVIS transfer, make the tuition payment, submit the financial document. The third stage is really important, the CPT application stage. After we receive the I-20 from your previous school, we help after and the tuition payment, we help students get registered for class. We send out the CPT application, and then we issue the I-20 from Monroe University. That's transferring pending I-20. That's the most important part. So next slide. Next, okay. SEVIS transfer and I-20 processing. Very easy. After you get a minute, you just fill out the acceptance acknowledge form and pay the $100 acceptance confirmation fee. Why we have this? Because after we issue the acceptance letter to students, some students said, no, I don't want this major. Probably accidentally I choose that major. Some students says, no, that's not the correct entry term. I would like to defer to the future. No, I don't want to study in that campus. I would like to study in New Rochelle campus. In this stage, you will receive a form. You need to check the entry term is correct, the major is correct, and the campus is correct. Then moving forward to next stage, financial documents. We only require bank statement. Bank statement is under your name. That's easier. If under sponsor's name, easier as well. Just fill out, ask the sponsor to fill out the sponsor form. And the most important part, you need to fill out the SEVIS transferring form. The SEVIS transferring form is the easy form. You need to fill out the first part and the second part to your previous school's DSO to fill out and then release the SEVIS record to our database. And you need to complete one semester tuition payment. After I explain this law, you understand that we do anything manually. We have different departments involving different things. So we ensure students won't make their commitment. So they have to make the tuition payment to us. Then we're processing all the class registration, CPT registration, SEVIS registration as well. Next slide. So CPT application document, what do I need to submit in order to get the CPT I-20? Very easy. You need to have the CPT application form, fill out the general information. You need to have the job offer letter. I'm gonna explain the job offer letter, and we're gonna have a sample offer letter in next page. You're gonna download the I-94 form from the website. One click, maybe take 2 seconds. You need to, your advisor your employer has to fill out the CPT agreement form and the signature. Next. This is our job offer, sample of job offer. Most importantly, the offer has to include the company name, location, number of hours. Some students, they working part-time, some students, they working full-time. Less than 20 hours considered as part-time, more than 20 hours considered as full-time. And then the start and end date. This is really important because the CPT is 1 credit plus. If it's a 1 credit plus, it has to have the start date and end date. Start date is the official semester start date. End date is the last day of the semester. If next semester students still want to apply for CPT, no worry, there's no gap. As long as students submit the paperwork 1 or 2 weeks before the current CPT ends, there won't be any gap between these 2 CPT terms. Job title, job duties, this is really important because as curriculum practical training, the major you study, the internship you're doing has to relate to the course and the major If you are studying computer science, you go to the law form, that's related, right? If you are a lawyer and then you're working for hospital or a hotel, that's unrelated. So CPT has to relate to the major you are studying. This is really important. In the future, you might get questioning if that doesn't match. So the last thing is the supervisor's name and email address. That's easy. That's our sample job offer letter. Then you can take a look on this. Next, additional admissions path. If some student you are currently in other country, you might need the initial I-20 to enter in this country. So we issue the initial I-20. If some student is a SEVIS, like a change of status, this group we were charging 600 acceptance fee. Why are we doing differently with this group? Because a change of status, it contains a lot of work. Our DSO need to issue different type of I-20s, and some students get RFE. We need to provide documents. We need to communicate with the SEVIS. Some SEVIS phone call take 2-3 hours to go through. So it takes a lot of work. However, if student got approval before the school starts, we will refund $500 to student, not refund, the $500 will apply to students' tuition. So we only charging $100 after the change of status active. The third case is the reinstatement I-20. Some student might out of status for some reason. We will review the reason. If we agree on accepting the student, we will issue the reinstatement I-20 to student. Next slide. Most important part, tuition. If you're looking in New York, are you going to be expensive? And how much I need to pay? And how, what's the frequency I need to go in person? I can answer this. For a first master student, that means student never had a degree from a US university before. The student need to pay $6,529 for 7 credits. If the student already had a master's degree within the United States or a PhD degree, the tuition has lowered to $4,385. Because many second master students asking for scholarship because they already have experience and they have already met credentials, or some students already have PhD. That's why this program, second master degree, we already built in the scholarship. Then we don't need to take the extra step to evaluate every applicant profile, see if the student qualify for scholarship or not. That's why we build in the scholarship into the program. So it only costs $4,385 for 7 credits. If an advanced certificate is only $4,500. If you apply for CPT, it's $4,900. For the class schedule, if it's a weekend student will from 10 o'clock to afternoon 4:30, 2 classes. If it's a weekday, usually from 2:30 to 5:30, and the second class starts 6 to 9 p.m. or 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. The study mode is like a combination. The modality is combination. We have the traditional online, or we have virtual, and we have in person. We only require students come to campus 3 times of the whole semester, once a month. Yeah, that's it. Next slide. Student activities. I think we had a very good career advancement department back in last month. November 4th and 5th, we hold a big job fair, career fair in our Browns campus. We invite a lot of big company like MTA. They have 100 position opening. For example, they are data analyst, software engineering, and a lot of different variety of job position opening. So our career advancement office will send out the hiring email information twice a month. If you are actively looking for a job, then you can pay attention to those email. Then you can bring your resume, come to the career fair to get an interview, the in-person interview. Um, the employment opportunity at least twice a month, like job posting, recruitment events, and networking opportunities. We send out the email occasionally. If you are interested, please pay attention to those emails. And yeah, that's it. Basically, I cover everything for today. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Huang, for that great presentation. Let me go
Thank
ahead
you.
and move over to the Q&A section. Again, for everyone, there's some questions. Thanks for your questions so far. If you have questions, put them in. I can't guarantee that we will get, since we have about, let's see, 25 minutes left. So we'll try and get through everyone's questions. If there are repeats, we are gonna skip them. And then if there's something that's like a little bit more detailed, feel free to kind of check in with us. Through our consultation. Again, Chinese consultation on WeChat on the left, English consultation on WhatsApp on the right. Also, just wanted to flag everyone's attention to our rewards program that I mentioned earlier. So we have that rewards program to kind of enroll in that and kind of see what that's about. We have another QR code. Go ahead and scan that on the right. So we'll go through these questions one by one. All right, so the first question, so let's say a student is doing change of status, right? And their change of status isn't processed before the start date of the semester. Can they still start classes? What would you say?
Yes, if student under valid visa, for example, if student switch the change of status from H to F, student could start the study without the F approval. Because if you're on the H visa, you're allowed to study in the States. Only one case, one visa you cannot study is B1, B2. B visa you cannot start until the um the approval notice.
Okay, that's great news. Yeah. So again, this is we just want to be a little careful. As Ms. Huang said, as long as your visa is valid during your change of status, you can start studying, right? So, and again, assuming that that visa lets you study. So H, especially H1B, H4. But let's say some students have a situation where they're valid when they submit the change of status, and then their original status expires. If that's the case, actually, you wouldn't be able to study. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. So, in general, if your current visa is valid and you're allowed to, but we need to see different cases. But
Yes.
I would say if the law allow you to study, school will allow.
Yes. Okay, that's great. Great news. Oh, also another thing for students though, you wouldn't necessarily be getting that CPT authorization though until it can't be granted until at least you have an F1 visa. So do pay attention.
Correct. Because CPT is F1 students benefit. If you haven't got this approval notice for F1 visa, you cannot apply for CPT.
Mhm. Okay, great. Now the next question, during semester breaks, like let's say a student has been granted CPT authorization, can they still work during semester breaks?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah. During semester breaks, can students still work on CPT?
Yes. Student can during the semester break, student only need to make the $400 payment and doesn't need to take any other classes, only CPT, because the CPT is the one credit class. So you only need to submit the paperwork for CPT on that break.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you can keep working. You don't need to take a break from your employer. Just make sure you're staying up to date with the payments and the paperwork. I just do want to quickly ask a follow-up question. Let's say a student is eligible for OPT when they finish graduating. Can CPT usage during the break affect their OPT amount?
If the student haven't used their OPT, they
Yes.
need to be very carefully use the CPT.
Mhm.
Um, if students do have the OPT eligibility after the graduate, student cannot use full-time CPT more than a year. So normally we will suggest students to do the 2 semester full-time and then third semester change to part-time.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, sounds that's helps answer another question that we had. Now, the next question is, can a student take like a break from classes for a semester and keep working?
Yeah, if the student after taking 3 semesters, for the fourth one, student can apply for a semester break. On the
Mhm.
fourth one, student doesn't need to take other class, only doing their CPT. But student need to finish 18 credits before the break, ineligible for the break.
Okay, so yeah, you can do that as long as you're fulfilling the requirements and taking the 18 credits beforehand.
Right.
The next question, can students, if they're working on, let's say, OPT and they have insurance through the employer, can they continue on that employer rather than going through student insurance?
Yeah, sure. Because we don't, the health insurance is not mandatory America or university. Student buy their own insurance.
Okay, great. Next question, do students need to apply for CPT every semester or once a year? How often?
Every semester, like I said from the beginning, actually, for school standpoint, we do not want to process a couple hundred students CPT paperwork every semester. However, in protect students standpoint, we have to do that over and over again because this is one credit class. Normally, it doesn't make sense if a class lasting 1 year without any break, right? So in the future, if anything goes wrong, SEVIS won't pick up on school, won't pick up on the employer, will punish the student. So we're doing the extra work for our student.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is an extra, it might feel like a pain when you're like submitting it again. As Ms. Huang said, it is actually also extra work for the university, but it's all for the students' protection. Um, Great. The next question, why do we need I-94 form for the CPT application?
Yeah, because that has to show you are officially in the States. If
Mhm.
without your proof you are within the States, you cannot start to do the CPT process.
Okay.
The I-94 shows you currently in the United States.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you for that. When is the latest that the student can receive? I guess what is the deadline for scheduling the CVIS transfer?
Like I mentioned in my previous presentation, there's a lot of work including like a few departments to help students to get the CPT stage, right? So
Mhm.
at least 5 to 7 business days.
Mhm. Okay, great. Thank
If
you.
you want to get for example, our winter semester starts in January 8th. If you want to literally receive your I-20 on that day, CPT I-20, that means you have to release your SEVIS record 7 business days in advance because now it's the holiday season, Christmas, New Year. So you need to know because the school has to close the university for the holidays. So you calculate it. Usually we need to receive your SEVIS record in December 29th, December 30th, around that time. So we can start to generating the transferring pending I-20 and register student into SEVIS active the I-20, and student has to get the class schedule. A student submit a paperwork for our CPT coordinator. The CPT coordinator need to verify is this company real or is the office it cannot be a personal office residential area for the office, right? We need to verify a lot of things, and is the student's major related to the internship. So we need to verify a lot of things. So give us 5 to 7 business days to process.
Yep. And yeah, just as Ms. Huang was saying, like normally you should be doing this anyway, kind of just staying on top of your paperwork, especially if you're going for the January intake as we're approaching the holiday season. And there are like scheduled federal holidays. Make sure that you're just really on top of your dates so that we can kind of get everything smoothly for you. All right, next question. I guess these two are kind of the same. Or okay, first one. How often are virtual classes for the MBA program? Would students be expecting them? It said, I know we saw Monday, Thursday through Thursday. Would that be like every day, Monday through Thursday, or what would that look like?
Usually, if you have class on, for example, Saturday, you only require once a month. That means other 3 times gonna be virtual. So Saturday, same time, you're gonna open your computer, you're gonna attending the class.
Oh, okay, understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
And when can students learn their class schedule for their in-person visits?
After student make the tuition payment, after students submit those required documents, for example, like meningitis waiver form, we receive those documents. I would be the one help student to get registered for new student. So if the student make the tuition payment and submit the required document, I normally already have student done with the first semester registration. The only thing I hold off for the email because our academic dean and the team has to identify which day student has to be in person, weekday and weekend, both group, right? That's why I'm still waiting on that. If I receive that, usually I will send out sometime next week.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So next question, does a student need to have a US degree before applying for a master's program?
No, it doesn't have to be. If you have a bachelor degree in your own country, it's totally fine. Just because those students already had a master degree within the states, you can get to the second master's tuition rate. If you haven't got the master's degree within the United States, you also can, yeah, we have a big population for that group. So the tuition rate will be slightly different. That's the only difference.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Next one, I guess the student wants to reconfirm the number of credits needed for the MBA.
If you are applying for STEM or MBA, that's 45 credits. If the regular MBA is 36 credits, the 36 credits, that means 12 class, 12 classes. Doesn't the OPT 1 credit doesn't apply to our 36.
Oh, I got it. Thank you. So that'll be like
Mhm.
an extra credit on top of that.
Yeah, extra. Mhm.
All right. So can students, how many student tra how what does credit transfer look like? Let's say a student has like done like previous coursework in the US and they didn't finish it. Can they transfer it and would they be eligible for discounted tuition?
Yeah. We on master level, according to New York State law, student has to grant at least 30 credits from that school in order that school to give out the diploma. So if for example, if you are applying for 36 credits MBA data science computer science program, the maximum possible for credit transfer is 6 credits. That means 2 classes. But we need to evaluate like the previous school if the class is match our curriculum is the same.
Okay,
That
great.
we will allow like 6 credits transfer if for a 36 credit program.
Okay. And then if this student, let's say they didn't finish their degree, but they have some credits, can they get that discounted tuition fee for a second master's, or do they have to have a completed degree?
They have to have completed degree. They
Okay.
cannot get a second master tuition rate without completed degree.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Now the next question, are there on-campus job opportunities?
Yes, we do have few position opening, but it depends on like students' credential, and we do have some on-campus job.
Okay, thank you. Um, So next question, is a JD degree from a US university, would that be equivalent for a second master's degree for the tuition discount?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think this question I think we answered already, but when is the admission fee due?
Admissions fee?
Yeah, this is what they put.
If an admissions fee, that means application fee. We will waive students' application fee if students apply through GoElite, our partner. So normally it's $50 application fee. If apply through GoElite's link, we will waive this $50 for students.
Great. Yeah, so everybody, if you haven't started your application yet, go ahead and scan our consultation. We'll get you the application link and you can waive that fee. All right, the next question, can a student get pre-approval for CPT before paying tuition?
Nope, because that's internal. Like I said, we have couple hundred students uh want the same thing at the same time. So that's really critical time. We will need student to make some commitment first. If student need to be our student, internal student, in order to apply for CPT. That's the one credit clause. Student has to make the tuition payment. Student has to get registered in order to uh, get the CPT opportunity. But if your study and your internship is related, I don't see any like a rejection for CPT. Only see very few. Our CPT coordinator might call you, says, "Oh, could you revise your job offer a little bit with your employer because doesn't look like you're related to the major." I don't see any like completely denial. So if you're really interested in start CPT with us, you have to do the process following the instruction.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Next question, can a student change their concentration after enrolling in the MBA program?
Yes, sure.
Okay, great. Are there dormitories available? And if so, what are the rates?
Yeah. I forgot to mention that in on my presentation because we have dormitory in New Rochelle and we have like a 700 beds for like the total. The rates depends because we have like a double, triple, like different variety, and we have some without kitchen, you cannot cooking, and some with the kitchen and more modern. So it's gonna be a little bit different, but I will say it will between 35 to 42, like per semester, like a semester. If divide by month, it's a little over 1,000.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Now, as when's the next intake after January?
Next intake gonna be April 30th. So basically it's May.
Okay, great. Then the next one, are there master's programs that would grant eligibility for CPT with a registered nurse job?
Public health is related because we have many, not little, like quite a few nurse studying this program, and they got very good job, and they are a registered nurse. Public health, it's related.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Yeah, so check out the public health program. What is the maximum amount of courses students can take per semester?
Um, three major course
Three major course. Okay, thank
and
you.
plus CPT, that will be 10 credits, 4 classes. So normally the maximum gonna be 10 credits.
Yes, all right. Thank you for that. Now, next one, how can Monroe University help with somebody gets an RFE? Like, let's say if they're going for H1B after or during their studies.
Yeah, we will provide what we have. Like if the RFE, normally the first thing RFE for H1B they will require. the CPT agreement. That's why we require students, employer fill out that. That's really important. Based on our experience, maybe 99% of the RFE require for the CPT agreement. But some students, they are still want to negotiate. Like I said from the beginning, the SEVIS, not USCS, not going to punish the school, not going to punish the employer, only the student going to be punished. So we are protecting our student. It's better to have a CPT agreement because that's a CPT job. If you don't have the agreement, how could you like identify that's a CPT job?
Mhm. Yep, that's a really, really great point. So yeah, so RFE, like Ms. Huang mentioned, a lot of reasons people they can do that. The reason that they will get asked for is a CPT agreement. And again, Monroe University does have the documentation to do that because you're actually required to certify your CPT every semester. There's another question here that I'll kind of respond to that what is the RFE approval rate for Monroe University? So actually, this kind of approval rate is not something that technically this university can monitor because this is outside of the jurisdiction. Actually, this is like handled by the student and the government. So it's kind of really like impossible to get like an approval rate because it will require you to ask every student to kind of report that afterwards, and there's no necessarily incentive for them to do so. So it's hard to get stats on this, but again, should your RFE be related to something that concerns your enrollment at Monroe University, they will have the documentation to help you. All right, next
Correct.
question. How long does the advanced certificate in data science take? And second question, would that be eligible for STEM OPT?
A year. That would like 18 credits. We design 6 credits, 6 credits, 6 credits. We have 18 credits. We have 3 semesters starting a year, so student will finish within a year. And that's a good question. Does this advanced certificate eligible for another OPT? I will share a data with today's students. According to our DSO's data, there are half of students get the OPT. Well, half of them might not get it. Maybe it depends on the student's uh, paperwork or the luck. So I would say you have 50% chance to get another OPT, only study the 18 credits advanced certificate. If you didn't get it, then if you get it, that's an extra bonus. If you don't get it, you can finish your computer science degree. You can apply for the master of uh, data science, then continue your degree with this if you want.
Mhm. Okay, great. That's great advice. The next question is about CPT approval. Should students request to change their job title to like, let's say they're confident that the duties are related to the major, but do you think it would be helpful for them to change the job title to make that match even more? What do you think?
Yes, sure. Like I said, this is a entry level or trainee sort of position because curriculum practical training. If you're director or VP of the company, that doesn't look like a CPT internship. That looks like a formal job. So the title is important as well, but the most important is the job responsibility has to relate to the field you are studying.
Okay, thank you for that. And we have just a couple more minutes. Do you mind if we take like a little bit of extra time to go over these like, questions, or do you want to stop after 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, so again, thank you everyone for your questions. We're going to run through with what we have. If you have further questions, sorry we can't get to it, it's getting late. So please feel free to scan our consultation with our consultants in Chinese on the left or in English on the right, and we're just going to run through these last couple of questions. All right, so does Monroe University reinstate undergrad students who fell out of status due to the school error?
Undergrad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
We if due to some school's error make the student out of status, we will review the case. We will help the student.
Mhm. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Is there an option to attend in-person classes weekly instead of monthly?
That's a good question. We are thinking about that because some students they require to take more in-person class. They want to interact with their classmate, their professor more frequently. if we have enough students to have this kind of a demand, we will open up like before the COVID, we require students to come to school twice or like twice or three times a week.
Mhm.
But because the COVID, we changed to fully online. And then after the pandemic area, we require student come once a month. But if we do have enough students willing to take like class every week, we will do.
Okay, great. So that kind of depends on student need and
Right,
interest. Okay.
right.
For the CPT application, is a formal job offer required, or can they use a letter from the employer outlining the position and responsibilities?
Like I mentioned in the in our previous conversation, it's better to fill out our CPT form to protect the student because the first thing the RFE require is a CPT form. However, in very, very, very few cases, the employer cannot provide that. It might be a chance to get alternate like letter or something, but that will be case by case.
Case by case. Okay, so don't count on it. Again, always go through it.
Yeah, I we don't recommend that
Mhm.
until you have nothing else to provide and you really really need this. And in the future, you're gonna take the responsibility if you didn't in the future gonna create some any problems. But we definitely not recommend that at all.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question I can answer. So, is it possible to get an application refund if they didn't apply, if they heard about us through Monroe University through GoElite, but they didn't apply through the link? So actually, that'll be a great time that you can scan the rewards code, and then just get in touch with your consultant and explain the situation. So, whoever consultant you were working with, get in touch with them, scan the rewards program, and they'll be able to get you that refund. Next question I can also answer. So. A full-time CPT for both years makes you ineligible for STEM OPT. Is there a way around it? So this is actually like the letter of the law. If you are working full-time for more than 1 year, you cannot get OPT. Like that is the law. There's no exceptions to that. Now, what you can do is like, how can you make it work for your case? As Ms. Huang mentioned, you can work full-time for less than 1 year and then switch to part-time. There's no issue with as you can use as much part-time CPT as you want, but full-time it literally says it in the law. If you go over 1 year, you will not be eligible for any OPT, STEM extension or any OPT. Great. Now, next question. Can students pay tuition with a credit card?
Yeah, sure. Because when I was a student, I remember when I use my credit card, it's gonna charge 3% more the fees. But at Monroe University, if you pay by the credit card, we're not gonna charge any extra fee. It will be same if you pay by cash, checking account. So that's a good news.
Oh, that's really great. Yeah, that's really great flexibility. And then our very last question, or what happens if a student misses their scheduled in-person class?
We only require three times a semester. We like we don't recommend that at all, and we require every student to attending every in-person class. But if you really have something happen and you cannot control it, yeah, then we would just yeah, we already know this, but in the future, if RFE and then they ask you for the attendance report is really, really important for a student. So that's the key. So we highly recommend students to attending every in-person class.
Yes, because this, like Ms. Huang said, this is actually a requirement of your F1 visa. And if they're asking about how you maintained your F1 visa status, and you're missing your classes, then that's kind of a violation of that. So really, really, really,
Right.
it's really not just because of course, the like in-person benefits of education, but also for your F1 visa status as required by the US government. All right, cool. So thank you everybody for your questions. Thank you, Ms. Huang, for your time and knowledge. I know we've run through a lot of questions and we've done a lot of talking. So thank you for bearing with us. I know it's getting late over there on the East Coast. So students or applicants, if you have further questions, free to reach out to us on WeChat at the QR code on the left, or on WhatsApp on the QR code on the right. And again, feel free, we will more than welcome you into our rewards program through this QR code on the bottom right here. All right, thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, Samir. Thank you, everyone, to stay with me. Thank you for tonight.
Yes, all right, good night.